Hello and welcome to Edeltian News, the only actual good news station that doesn't bring you fake news. On today's story, there have been a new wave of Edeltian state security, as well as a few new Paladins. Edeltia is under a strict security reform. New Paladin in question is none other than Rep 1890 as shown here. Look at that quality armor, you could tell it was Edeltian forged and not in China. We also had an interview between our interviewer, UnTreadSource, and one of our great and influential console, Varxon. Over to you in Rise Towers.
Hello, Voaxon. I'm here to interview you and ask you some questions. Are you okay with that?
Yep, go ahead.
Nice. All right. So, why did you come to Edeltia?
Well, I came to Edeltia. I actually have known Croxon longer than Edeltia's been in existence. I was in Croxon's first group with him. This group is called the Chironics Empire, and this group was back in 2012-13. After that, Croxon and I kind of merged onto this different group called TCD, which most of you have probably heard of. It was me, Croxon, and Caspian at the time. After serving probably about 6 months in TCD, I ascended to the rank of consul. Well, I was actually the first one to ascend to it, and I kind of retired. And then there was a bit of a long-lasting time span between which Croxon and I really weren't communicating. But 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, Croxon reaches out to me and explains to me that he's got this new project that he's working on. It's going to be a roleplay group that's going to have a city, and it's going to be designed around the players. And this group happened to be Edeltia. And at the time, I was looking for something interesting to get involved in because, frankly, I was just developing stuff. And Croxon asked me for my help, and I decided I'd come and help, and I've been here ever since.
Fair enough. Despite the fact that you retired for a long time, what caused you to come back and why did you stay so long?
The first time retirement, I was a general at the time, and I kind of figured that it was time for me to kind of retire and move off along to the side and allow the newer generation to come through. What brought me back was the fact that the newer generation that had come in at the time really didn't seem to have any guidance on what they needed to actually do. They didn't. This was during the VAC war when I came back, and these officers most of them were not seasoned. They didn't have experience with stuff like this, and I felt that I had the responsibility to come back and kind of help guide them along their way.
Great. To new Edeltians, or those lacking confidence or knowledge, what would you say to them to help them be better versions of themselves?
Honestly, the only thing you need to do when it comes to confidence and anything related to Edeltia is just do a good job. That's all you got to do, because people don't believe that they get noticed a lot. They think that no one's going to notice them just because they're a normal Edeltian. But you got to remember that everyone here was a normal Edeltian at some point. Every high rank, every consul, we were all low ranks at one point. What separated us is that we were willing to, even though times got tough, was we were still willing to stick it out. So my advice to them, it's going to be tough at times. Just stick it out, and we're watching a lot more than than you'd think. We have alts, and we do come in and we do check stuff out. So just do the best job you possibly can, and good things will come.
Some good advice right there. Now, if you were to relive in all of your moments in Edeltia, is there anything you would have done differently? If so, what?
There was this one moment that I would kind of like to fix. It was when MP first launched, and I was training them in the city, and I accidentally banned the entire server. I would really like to go back and prevent that from happening. But seriously, if there was a serious moment that I could go back and prevent, I actually don't have any. I don't, because everything I've done for a reason. I've always had a realistic reason behind it. Every decision I make that's impacted the group extremely in a large way has had a reason behind it. And ultimately, from my experience, my decisions have been working out well. Now, there have been a few that, frankly, did not work out the way I would like to, but they still happen for a reason. So I wouldn't go back and change anything.
Great. Now, how did you and Croxon get to know each other so well?
Croxon, well, like I said, we met in 2012-13, and the reason we got it's kind of hard to explain, honestly. It's something that kind of just evolved over time. I wasn't in our first group. We weren't close friends. I was an officer, but we weren't really close friends. We got to know each other extremely well over TCD when that group first started. We got to know each other extremely well in that group because I started to rise through the ranks and he started to rely on me more. And outside of the group, we communicated a lot and we had a really good friendship because we were similar in a lot of ways. We had the same philosophies and we agreed on a lot of things. Knowing each other well, that it's just time frame. We've known each other for so long and we've done so much together that the friendship kind of just came along.
Interesting story. Do you have any final notes to say before we finish up?
To all you Edeltians out there who have a goal in the group, whether it's to become a paladin or become an officer, it's all possible. Whether you want to become a high-ranking officer, you want to become field marshal, or you want to become a celestial paladin, it's all possible. And if you're willing to put in the work and the effort and wait the time, because there's going to be some times where nothing's going on, you'll complete, you'll do whatever you want. I mean, the officers that we have now, they all started at the bottom, and I believe most of them didn't think they'd ever become officers. But it's that mentality right there, that non-cocky mentality, the fact that they may not think they're going to get anywhere, but they're just going to do their job the best they can. That's ultimately what we look for in people. Just do your job. Don't expect anything. Good things will come when the time is right. Do your job, and it's going to happen.
All right, thank you for your time, Voxon. It's been a pleasure to be able to interview you. Glory to Edeltia.
Thank you very much. You have a good one now.
In another story, political diplomats have arrived in Centrum City. They are under strict Paladin protection, so for all of you that don't want to see politics in your city and think of taking a few loaded magazines to them, think again. For another story in today's news flash, coming sometime soon, is the time frame for hype as the Palace Keepers will soon be recruiting new members to walk around Centrum and keep our city clean of rebel scum. These valiant knights and warriors aren't afraid to get up close and personal with their enemies. Their proficiency in melee combat makes them a foe to fear. They may not be the sneakiest, but their raw strength and shield formations make sure that no rebel goes without their daily dose of crusade.